Hey, what up, guys? My name is Cyril Zuma. I am a portrait, lifestyle, events, and wedding photographer based in Johannesburg. I am also the founder of iStock Africa, a stock image agency. What I have in front of me here is an image I shot with Beauty on Tap sometime last year, and I want to take you guys through my editing process on Photoshop. And just a little bit of background what I shot this with, not that it really matters from my perspective, but I shot this with a Canon 6D, Canon 70-200 lens. We shot this at f5.6 and a shutter speed of 125th per second with an ISO of 100. But anyway, those settings don't really matter to me right now. So I want to take you guys through my editing process and how I edit my images. By no means is this the right way to edit, but I definitely suggest that you try this method, and if it works for you, it's definitely good for you. So the first thing that I want to do when I have my image open here on Photoshop is make a copy of my background layer, which is over here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is press Command J. By the way, I am using a MacBook, so all the settings that you will be referred to are for MacBook. The next thing that I want to do here is basically look for my spot healing brush tool. And what this does is basically look for spots just like that over there. And if I just click on it, it will definitely just disappear just like that. And another one over there, and another one over there. So what I'm going to do now is just do the rest of her face, and you guys must follow along. Make sure that you are following step by step. Don't miss any steps or don't skip any steps. And if you really want to skip the step, you definitely can if you already know what's happening over here. So I'm looking for little spots like that are disturbing me, and luckily for me, she definitely does have good skin, so that works to my advantage. Be very gentle. Increase and decrease the size of your spot healing brush tool to fit the size of the object or the blemish that you want to remove. And as you can see, there's not much to play around with here. I will just remove that because I really do not like it on her face. So I'm going to do the rest of her body, and you guys follow along. Let's go enjoy. Okay, I'm quite happy with this. Once again, guys, please make sure that you do take your time. Do not rush. This is not a process that you do rush. It does take time, so be very much aware of that. So once I've removed all the blemishes, the next thing that I do is basically make a copy of layer 1 and background layer. And the easiest way to do that on MacBook is Command, Alt, Shift, and E. And it will make a duplicate layer or a copy of the layers beneath. And the next thing that I want to do, again, while on layer 2, is make a copy of layer 2, Command J. I want to put those in a group, so select both of them, Command G, and once you're done with that, we are going to name this frequency separation. This is an exciting process, the process before you basically dodge and burn your images. So the first thing that I'm going to do is rename my layers. So I'm going to name layer copy 2 high. You can name this whatever you want, just make it easy for you to remember. And I'm going to name this low. The first step that I'm going to do is click on my high layer, make it invisible, click on my low layer, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and you can zoom in on your image if you want to, but I think I'm quite happy. What I normally do is just click on the eye, and what you're looking at here, or what you're looking for here, is just enough blur that the skin is smooth enough and not too smooth, something like that. You don't want that, but you want to be able to still see the eye. So you want to still be able to see that those are lashes, that's an eye, and I'm quite happy with 6.6, so I'm going to leave it there. Press OK, go to your high layer, make it visible, click on image, apply image, and on your layer over here, you want to click on your low layer. On your blending mode, you want to click on subtract. Click OK, make sure that you leave the rest of these settings as they are. Press OK. Now the image looks kind of funny, but there's a trick to this. So you go up here to your blending mode, you look for linear light. Press linear light, and if we make that invisible, we see that we've basically done nothing. Well, the process of frequency separation is about to begin. Basically, what frequency separation is, from what I understand and from what I've learned on YouTube, is a separation of your texture versus some of your smooth skin. So I want you to click on your low layer, go to your lasso tool, zoom in just a little bit. I think I want to work on the face first, so I'm going to do that. And once I've clicked on my lasso tool, I want to make any shape. So I'm just going to make a little bit of a circle. Press Q, and Q basically helps me see the feathering and how the skin will blend in together. To take that away, you press Q again. I think I'm happy with that amount of 32. Otherwise, you definitely can change it up here to whatever number you want it to. So I'm just going to leave it at 32. The next step that you want to do is just make a shape around your face on the inside of it, avoiding certain parts of the image. So I don't want to be going to the hair because I'm not working with the hair at all. And just trace along here. And I think I'm happy with that. Once again, guys, please do take your time. This is not a process that you do rush. The next thing that I'm going to do is press on Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And from here, what I want to do is basically smoothen the skin out a little bit, take away some of those blemishes from her face. So I'm going to drag the radius along to a number like 14. You definitely do not want it to a number like that where the skin does not look nice, or to a high number like 50. I think you guys definitely should keep around 14 and below. It depends on what you're editing. Now, then you will click OK from there. I think that looks good on me. Okay. The next thing is I'm just going to go along the rest of the body, making some edits. Okay, I think I'm happy with that shape. And the next thing that I'm going to do is just reapply the same amount of blur that I did in the previous image. And the best way to do that is Command Control F. Otherwise, you can definitely do this. So make another shape. Let me just show you guys. Make another shape, and you can go Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And you can stick to that number or take it a little bit lower. I suggest that you do play around with the radius because different areas require different things. I'm going to press OK on that. I think I'm happy with it. Okay, I just want to show you guys one more time how the Command Control F2 works, which is copying the amount of blur which we did previously, the amount of 14%. So I'm just going to make another shape here. I think I'm happy with that. It's selected. You can definitely see the difference between the skin on the forehead and the skin on the cheeks here. So to copy the settings or the amount of blur that I had for a forehead, I'm basically going to press Command Control F, and it reapplies the same settings on there. So you guys follow along, do the same thing to the rest of a body, face, whatever you want to be working on. And I will be going down to areas like this, areas like that, areas over here, and blurring it out. So follow along and take your time. Once again, the image really is supposed to look the way that you want it to look. And I think what I'm really trying to achieve here is a simple look, nothing too over edited. And let's take it from there. Okay, so there you have it, guys, the power of frequency separation. This is the before and this is the after. Before and after. Before and after. That is the power of frequency separation. I am happy with the image. I'm definitely going to move on to the next step, which is dodge and burn, my favorite. Now, with dodge and burn, there are a lot of misconceptions with dodge and burn. A lot of people, don't really like dodge and burn and think it's unnecessary in most images. I think it really does work and it really helps. Basically, what dodging and burning is bringing out your highlights and your shadows rather. So these will be the highlights, and if we're looking at shadows, we're looking at areas like that over there. We're looking at areas like this over here. Those are your shadows. But anyway, let me show you guys the process of how it works and how I do it. So the first thing that you want to do is go right here to your new layer, and we are looking for curves adjustment. And once you click on that, these two will come up, these two curves layers. So this is layer thumbnail and this is layer mask thumbnail. So the first thing that you want to do is click on your layer thumbnail, change your blending mode to screen. Come back to the layer mask thumbnail, press Command I for inverse. Make another curves adjustment layer, come back here to your layer thumbnail, change your blending mode to multiply. Come back to your layer mask thumbnail, Command I for inverse, and then basically make another black and white layer, and I will show you why this works. So with this, as I explained earlier on, what dodging and burning is, it's bringing out your highlights and bringing out your shadows. So what you want to do with your image is take down your reds so that you can see your highlights versus your shadows. And I think that's a good number for me. I'm happy to work with that. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to group all of these. So by pressing Command and clicking on all the layers and pressing Command G again, it'll put them together. So name your layer Dodge and Burn. Once you're done with that, now I want to take you guys through a little bit. I'll show you guys what dodging and burning is. So if we just go to our left here, we basically get an idea of what dodging and burning is. So we get an understanding here that burn darkens the areas in an image. So we'll be looking at areas like this to darken them just a little bit more. If we come back here and click on the dodge tool, we get to understand that, or what dodging is rather, and dodging is adding highlights or lightening areas in an image. So areas like this over here on her forehead will definitely be highlighted, on her cheek as I showed you guys earlier on her arm over here will be definitely be highlighted, her collarbone, you definitely want to work on that. So let me show you guys how this works. So we understand that we made this a little bit darker and we made this lighter. So we made the blending mode we changed on this here is to screen, which is to basically make it lighter, and the top curves too, we made it basically to be multiply, which is darker, which will look after your shadows. So if we go back right here again, we understand that what dodge is lightening areas in an image. So what we're going to do is name this layer dodge, and we are going to name this layer burn. Okay, once we're done with that, the next thing we want to do is come right here to our brush tool. Once you're done with that, go up to your opacity over here, change that to a number like 3%, and I think that's great. So the first thing that we want to do is start with the dodge. Let me just remove this lasso tool over here, come back to my brush tool, increase the size of my brush tool. So we can either do that over here, or we can basically press the square looking like brackets on your MacBook or whatever computer you're using that's MacBook. So we've got it on 3%, the flow on 100%, smoothing on 100%. The next thing that we want to do is basically go along areas like the highlights, because we are working with the highlights only, and just highlight them. Make sure that you do a shape. You don't change much on the person's face. All you are doing is working on certain areas of an image. So right now we are working on the highlights. And we will go just like that. Make sure that you do change the size of your brush, and you're not working on an area like her cheekbones here, but your size is like this. It's really going to mess it up. It does not look nice. So make sure that you do change the size of that. Okay, once we're done with that, I want to show you guys the power of dodge and burn. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to turn off the black and white layer, and you can see now what it has done. The difference is very slight. You definitely have to look hard in finding it, but for those who definitely know what dodging and burning is, you will definitely notice the difference, and you will see the end product. You will see the end results. I will show you guys. Anyway, let's make that visible and go back to our black and white layer. We are still going to carry on dodging this image. So what we are going to do is come back here to our brush tool and click on it. Could not rasterize because the pixel data of the layer is not directly editable. Okay, that's very interesting. I don't know what that means. If you guys know what that means, please do let me know. But for now, let's carry on. Okay, so I'm going to do her nose just here, and you guys must follow along. I will do the rest of the highlights, and then I will be back with you guys as soon as we do the rest of her shadows. Okay, I think that looks really great. And again, guys, I want to tell you this. So the reason why I edit my image in this size and not zoom in, to any size like that is because this is how people will view your image. I don't think anybody really has time to be zooming into your image and critiquing your work. Work like this is going on social media. You basically have 3 seconds to catch somebody's attention, and you don't really want to be zooming in. The only time that I will zoom in, to edit anything is to edit areas like the lips over here. So I'll just work on that right now. And then what I'm going to do is also work on just her ear at the top over here. So we can see that there are highlights on here which I definitely should be worked on, and I'm definitely going to work on that. So follow along once again, take your time, and make sure that you are happy with the final results that you want to come out. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. And I will also zoom in to work on areas like the eyes over here. So because I definitely want the eyes just to stand out a little bit more, I'll put this, the opacity on 9%. But again, it depends on the image that you're working on. So do change the percentage up whenever you feel the need to do so. Change this back to 3%. I think I'm happy with what I've worked on there. Okay, I think I'm definitely happy with the highlights that I've done on her body. You will see that areas like this have been highlighted, collarbone, under the cheek, the lips here, which is the chin, the cheekbones, the forehead, the nose. These are the global areas that you normally work on. Okay, so now the next thing that we're going to do is burn part of the image. Once again, by increasing and decreasing the size of your brush, you want to work on areas like this over here. So just stroke very nicely. By the way, I am definitely just using a MacBook, so there are no Wacom tablets. I know a lot of guys that work with Wacom tablets will probably kill me for this, but I want to make it easier and make it accessible to everyone. I think everybody should be able to retouch their images or edit their images just a little bit better. So just taking your time, once again, work on the areas that you feel that need a little bit more shadows. So work on that there, that over here. And do not change much of the subject. Wherever you see highlights or wherever you see shadows, that's exactly what you must work on. Do not change much about the subject. I think the whole aim of dodging and burning is not changing the subject, but it's just enhancing them and making them look just a little bit better than you want. So I'm just going to change this percentage again to 9%. I think I quite like it there, especially for her face and some of the body. I think the reason why I do that is just to achieve a better look and feel. What makeup artists call contouring, I think. Am I wrong? I actually, guys, if you do know of a makeup artist I can collaborate with, I definitely would love to be on a makeup artist YouTube channel, just discussing photography and makeup and what really works and what doesn't work. So please do let me know, comment below, email me, whichever one, but I'm really keen on that. Yeah, so follow along, do exactly the same thing. Okay, so guys, I think I'm happy with the image as it looks. That's dodging and burning. So I'm just going to do a before and after for you guys so you can see what the difference is. Let's just see what that is. Let's turn that off. And that's the before, that's the after. Before, after. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit more and show you guys once again. Before, after. Before, after. I'm quite happy with the image. And that is basically what dodging and burning is. Nothing too fancy, nothing too complicated. It's just a way to bring out your highlights and your shadows. So once you're done dodging and burning, the next step that I do is by duplicating all the layers below. So I'll duplicate my dodge and burn layer, my frequency separation layer, my blemishes layer, and my background layer. And basically to do that, I will press Command Control E, and let's try that again. Command Alt Shift and E, and it will make a copy of all the layers below. Now, there's a process which I saw on Instagram. Basically, the next step that I'm about to show you is a step that helps with when you zoom in and out of images, whether it's on Photoshop or whatever it may be, that it still keeps the same quality as it looks right now. So if we zoom in, we can see that the skin looks really nice. There's focus on their eyes, there's focus everywhere. So the next thing I want to show you guys, once you've made a copy of all the layers below, you want to right click and convert to smart object, and the image will be converted to smart object. What that means is that your image will be zoomed in and out without losing quality. So now the next step is to save our image. So File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. This is very important, especially if you will be posting your images on social media, whether it's Instagram or Twitter. Okay, the next thing that will happen, this box will pop up and you want to change this over here from GIF to JPEG. And normally I keep the same quality settings that I see on here. So the quality will be on 6%. I'll tick on optimized. In terms of the quality down here, again, I'll click on Bicubic Sharper and I'll keep the width and the height the same. And I will basically press save. Just before I do that, I will fit the image to view and press save. And I will save this on my desktop, wherever I want to save it as it is, and done. So now remember earlier on I told you guys that I will show you how to save for Instagram. Very interesting. Here's a top trick for me, which I also learned on the internet. Well, you know, it's everywhere on the internet. In fact, Instagram settings are there for you. So how to save for Instagram, you go File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. And the next step that you want to take is change your width here to 1200 as Instagram suggests. And you will see the size, it definitely went down. And fit to view, that's what it will look like. So I will press save once again, and I will name this IG for Instagram, and I will press save. There you go, there you have it, done just like that. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and tell anyone about this that may actually need this lesson. Thank you guys, and see you next time. Goodbye.